Welcome back to Undiscovered Northampton here on NLiveRadio, the station that loves Northampton, with me, Paul Brennecke, taking you through till 1 o'clock today. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you're enjoying what you've heard, especially if you've been with me since 10 o'clock this morning. We've got lots and lots of good stuff to come up. Scott is with us now. I'll be speaking to Scott in a moment. And then around about 11:30, we'll be speaking to Tash from the Doddridge Centre. And we'll also be looking at what's on the television and what's on in the cinemas. And we're going through the decades as well in this hour, from the 80s and 90s and the noughties, 3 number ones from those respective decades. We started this off, though, with Electric Light Orchestra, as you know, my favourite group. And that was their second single that they released in 1973. Got to number 6 in the UK, their version of Chuck Berry's old song, Roll Over Beethoven. But now it's time for Scott from SSAFA. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Mr. B. Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year to you too. Tell me, what sort of Christmas did you have with SSAFA?
Really, really good. We're having our Christmas meal tomorrow, actually, and I think I speak for one. I think I speak for all to my very good team here for Northamptonshire. How grateful I know the veterans of our country and certainly our county here at home are for the work they do.
Yeah.
But it's been very productive, very fruitful. Thank you.
And just a quick reminder of what SSAFA does, yes?
So I guess the first point is to explain the acronym as usual. It's Soldiers, Sailors, Airmen, and Families Association. We turn 140 this year. And again, that wouldn't have come about, without the good work of the commander of the branch that I work for, Mr. Gareth Bull, and some of my other colleagues like Sarah and Jason Nugent, and so many other nameless people, to support the very thankless work of our armed services, here in the UK and around the world.
So this is a charity for serving members and ex-members.
Exactly. So as well as their families. So most people don't know. And this is actually quite an apt opportunity to explain that if you're a widow, if you're a widower, if you're the child, immediate family basically of a serving armed forces member or a veteran, even if they're sadly predeceased, we can support with housing, with benefits, with charitable grants. We're basically like a citizen's advice, as you know, I worked for many years, but exclusively for the military community.
And does that apply to a serviceman who was married to somebody in the forces, got divorced, and has remarried since leaving the forces? Does that apply to his new spouse?
That is a very good question. Yes. In my experience, yes, it does. We have, obviously, a system of checks and balances to engage with the Ministry of Defense to confirm service records through our own internal client management system. Which allows us to, confirm those, authorities. Yeah, absolutely.
Carry on, sorry.
Of course, no, I was going to say, just as an idea, just to sort of give you an idea of some of the very limited, fundraising work, which is what raises our profile in the community. So I think the 1st of February, we're going to be at the Cobblers football match all day, raising money, in between that and some of the other functions that are all over the county, which people can access on our Facebook calendar. If you Google SSAFA Northamptonshire, we raise tens of thousands of pounds every single year, which doesn't leave our branch, and it goes exclusively to veterans. It doesn't go to administration. It doesn't go to bureaucracy. It literally goes entirely to our veterans.
So all of your members, staff members, are all volunteers?
Exactly. We have paid staff like any big charity, and SSAFA is a very big charity, but the money that we raise here in at least Northamptonshire is entirely earmarked for the benefit of our veterans. So they are the 100% beneficiaries of the fundraising that we do.
And have you got any other events planned in the near future?
So we have them almost every single weekend. Thanks to my friends, Sarah and Jason Nugent that I mentioned, they are, one couple army on their own. I was at the rail station here in Northampton a few I think last week, just as the snowstorm started. And I forget, I think the next one that I'm going to be at with them is the Cobblers match on the 1st of February. But again, I think the best way to access that events calendar is if our listeners go to SSAFA Northamptonshire on Facebook. And if I may say, Happy New Year to everybody. To you, of course, the team here for being so cordial and hospitable to me and our team. And, as always, you're all, as well as our veterans, in my prayers, every day.
One question, Scott, is volunteers, do they have to be veterans?
They do not, no. So as you know, I am not myself a military veteran. I was in the fire service, so slightly different. But I think the precocious interest for me, thanks to my grandparents and my parents in civic duty, is what impelled me to enlist, if you will, my service to SSAFA and just my general support for our military armed services community and subpopulation.
And so if anybody wants to volunteer, how would they go about it?
Sure. So the easiest way is, because we have a very rigorous recruitment process, is if you go to SSAFA, so SSAFA.org.uk, and access the hamburger menu in the upper left. I know, that's the computer code nerd in me, but that's the generic term for it. And then you select get involved, and then go to the volunteering section. It's the same way I joined, a couple of years ago.
Hamburger site, so I like that. So what sort of things, if somebody did come and volunteer, what sort of things would they be doing?
Sure. I mean, so we have quite a few different opportunities, both paid and unpaid. So I trained as both a caseworker and as a community event volunteer, which is what gives me the ability to be in your good company today, as well as support the fundraising projects at the rail station, at the football, rugby matches at Wicksteed Park last month for Christmas for the Christmas market fairs. We attend every imaginable air show, Armed Forces Day, events that are both military and
Non-military.
Yeah, exactly.
And what as I say, what sort of thing so people would be there shaking a bucket?
I forget to mention. So we sell memorabilia. Again, the proceeds of which for jumpers, T-shirts, tumblers, greeting cards, children's toys, all go to the beneficiaries, our veterans, exclusively. We have a very excellent catalog of apparel, keychains, gifts, everything.
Okay, Scott, can we just have that?
Of course, the telephone number.
Telephone number and the website address again.
Yes, of course. So the website, if you need support, if you're a veteran, and as I always say, thank you for your service, 0800-260-6780, 0800-260-6780, if you need help or support, and the website is safa.org.uk.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. B. God bless.
This is NLiveRadio.
I smoke is how I